We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. After wrapping his highly successful France visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in the US to meet President Trump. Trade, tariffs and more to dominate talks. After confirmation by the Senate, Republican Tulsi Gabbard, sworn in as US Director of National Intelligence, meets Prime Minister Modi in one of her first engagements after taking charge. With peace on agenda, Trump calls Putin and Zelenskyy, says negotiations to end Ukraine conflict will start immediately. US President Donald Trump to announce reciprocal tariffs on Thursday as trade war fears mount. And India completes an emphatic whitewash of England in a 3-match home ODI series just ahead of the start of the Champions Trophy. And on to the details now. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a 2-day visit to the United States. This is Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the United States after President Donald Trump assumed office for the second term. This is the second leg of his two-nation visit. This marks his first visit to the U.S. since Donald Trump's second-term inauguration. The trip aims to strengthen India-U.S. relations, focusing on key areas such as technology, trade, defense, energy, supply chain, resilience and global security challenges, highlighting the depth of the bilateral partnership. Prime Minister Modi will be staying at the Blair House, the historic guest lodging for dignitaries visiting the White House. During his 36-hour stay in the U.S., Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to hold bilateral meetings with President Trump. This is Prime Minister Modi's first bilateral visit to the U.S. since Trump was sworn in for his second term and places him among the select few foreign leaders visiting Washington within weeks of the new administration's inauguration. Prime Minister Modi is the fourth foreign leader to meet Trump in the White House in less than a month after he took office for a second term. He'll also meet several members of Trump's cabinet as well as U.S. business leaders and members of the Indian American community. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a warm welcome from the Indian diaspora. Members of the Indian community waited at the hotel to have a glimpse of Prime Minister Modi. Braving the chilly winters, members of the Indian community gathered outside the hotel, chanting Modi, Modi and waving Indian flags to greet him. Prime Minister also reciprocated, waving his hand to the people and spoke to the members of the Indian community.
अनुभव जो है बहुत ही अच्छा रहा। ये कहें कि विश्व का सब कुछ मिल गया। मोदी जी ने हमें आशीर्वाद दिया और भारत के प्रधानमंत्री जो कि इतने सुलझे हुए, इतने पहुंचे हुए, इतने कर्मठ इंसान हैं, जो लाखों करोड़ों भारतवासियों की दिन रात सेवा कर रहे हैं, ऐसे महापुरुष का आशीर्वाद पाकर जीवन धन्य हो गया।
बहुत अच्छा लगा। मोदी जी से हाथ मिलाया, मोदी जी ने बहुत खुश हो गया देख के मोदी जी को।
बहुत बढ़िया है। हमें उससे मिलकर बहुत खुशी हुई। इतना थक गए थे तो भी उसने टाइम निकाला और सब लोगों से मिले और अच्छी तरह से बात की और हमारे कंसर्न सुने और बहुत अच्छा लगा हमें।
We were waiting for him, so we got to see him very close. So I really am liking it. Like seeing him so close, it is really nice.
It's all worth it. Like 5 hours we are standing in this weather. It's freaking cold and you're freezing, but it's all worth it. Just one glance of him and he's so nice. Like, you know, we just love him.
And DD India's Amritpal Singh joins us for more from Washington, D.C. Well, Amrit, what will be on the table when the two leaders meet ahead of the agenda?
The entire spectrum of the relationship, when the two leaders meet at the White House, they would be looking at trade, investment, economy, defense ties, energy partnership, security partnership, the strategic partnership, the comprehensive global strategic partnership with a focus on the Indo-Pacific. As you know, India is hosting the Quad Leaders Summit this year. That would be key on the agenda. Immigration would be key on the agenda. There are issues on which there are convergences. So the effort would be to build on those convergences on issues where there are divergences or which require realignment or reset or readjustment, say issues like tariffs. The two sides would openly talk about that. The White House press secretary made a statement saying that reciprocal tariffs could be invoked by Donald Trump on countries, though she did not name the countries. Of course, there are concerns in India about it, though India has not been named right now, but there are concerns. So I think the two leaders will be openly talking about that. Prime Minister Modi will be conveying to Donald Trump that India understands your tariff diplomacy, but India is ready to make concessions, but the areas can be explored where a win-win situation can be evolved. If India makes concessions on few areas, India would want the scope and the ambit of the relationship to grow in terms of the trade, so that the overall impact can be eased on both countries, because the idea is to do that in the context of the wider relationship that the two countries share. They are strategic partners, they are democracies, they are on the same page when it comes to a lot of global issues. So if the balance of trade is an issue for the Americans, or if Donald Trump's America First or Make America Great Again policy requires him to take certain steps, India understands that. But that does not necessarily come in conflict with, say, Make in India. Avenues can be explored where it can be mutually beneficial, where the expertise that they have, that expertise can be deployed here. Those technologies can be transferred. On immigration, India does not support illegal immigrants or immigration, so India is ready to take back illegal immigrants that the United States might want to send back. But on H-1B visas, India has a talent pool, and American economy requires that. So I think the two leaders would be talking in an environment which will be progressive, which will be conducive to friendly ties between the two countries, and finally evolve an approach which is a win-win approach.
All right. Amrit, also, what does Prime Minister's engagement look like apart from his meeting with Donald Trump?
That's right. His first bilateral meeting was with Tulsi Gabbard, who just got confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence. Though Tulsi Gabbard has been an India supporter all through. Of course, the issue of illegal migration would have figured in the talks between the two sides, between Prime Minister Modi and Tulsi Gabbard. And his other meetings, you mentioned Elon Musk, though there is no official confirmation as of now. But yes, apart from the Dodge chief, he's also a business leader. The other meetings could be with cabinet members of Donald Trump's administration, but also, business leaders, where Prime Minister Modi would, convey that India, given its growth story, given the growth opportunities and the business opportunities that India offers, it is in the interest of both countries and businesses from the United States to invest in India and gain or benefit from the opportunities that a growing India offers to the world, and not necessarily at counter purposes. So I think he shall be putting out during his bilateral meetings that the idea should be to explore areas where the two sides can cooperate and not be at cross purposes.
All right, Amrit, thank you so much for all those details from there. And moving on, in his first bilateral, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met newly appointed US's Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, in Washington, D.C. On social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi congratulated her on confirmation and discussed various aspects of the India-USA friendship with her, of which she's always been a strong votary. Well, Tulsi Gabbard was sworn in as the top U.S. spy on Wednesday with Republican support behind a nominee once considered one of President Donald Trump's most controversial picks.
Do you solemnly swear? I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear that I will...
Tulsi Gabbard was sworn in as the top U.S. spy on Wednesday. At the swearing-in ceremony, U.S. President Donald Trump praised Gabbard and also entrusted her with overseeing urgently needed reforms to the U.S. intelligence community to protect the rights and the civil liberties of all Americans.
Faith and allegiance to the same.
Tulsi Gabbard's an American of extraordinary courage and exceptional patriotism. She's devoted her entire life to public service, and I've watched her for years on different shows and everything. I said, she's a woman of great common sense, and, you know, we like the common sense.
In response, Gabbard expressed her commitment to focus on ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people.
So I look forward to being able to help fulfill that mandate that the American people delivered to you very clearly in this election, to refocus our intelligence community by empowering the great patriots who have chosen to serve our country in this way, and focus on ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people.
Tulsi Gabbard left the Democratic Party in 2022 to become an independent before finally backing Donald Trump and joining the Republican Party in 2024. She has served 4 terms in the House of Representatives. She will now lead an agency established after September 11, 2001 terror attacks to coordinate US's intelligence operations, one of the most critical national security roles in the US government. Earlier, the Republican-controlled US Senate confirmed Tulsi Gabbard as Trump's choice to lead the country's intelligence services. Gabbard scraped through a 52 to 48 floor vote. Gabbard had looked vulnerable, but 3 Republican holdouts finally ended up lying behind her. Bureau Report, TD India.
And in the third episode of Pariksha Pe Charcha, artificial intelligence took center stage in shaping smarter learning strategies. The third session of Pariksha Pe Charcha 2025 concluded with finance expert Radhika Gupta underscoring how AI can play a transformative role in shaping the future, especially in teaching. How the correct usage of AI for demonstration can allow analysis of complex topics and provide insights that would otherwise be difficult to comprehend for the students.
टीचर का रोल है टू प्रोवाइड विजडम, टू प्रोवाइड एक्सपीरियंस. जैसे एक इंग्लिश टीचर अगर वो डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करना चाहती है कि भाई अच्छी चीज़ कैसे लिखनी है, तो वो एआई के ज़रिए 2-3 अच्छी चीज़ें क्लासरूम में डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करके दिखा सकती है. अगर एक टीचर आपको सिखाना चाहे कि एनालिसिस कैसे करना है, फॉर इंस्टेंस अगर एक 2 कंट्रीज़ का वॉर है, तो वो कह सकती है प्रॉम्प्ट डाल के कि इस सिचुएशन को आप इस कंट्री के पर्सपेक्टिव से दिखाइए, इस कंट्री के पर्सपेक्टिव से दिखाइए. ये एआई का एक बहुत अच्छा यूज है क्लासरूम में एनालिसिस दिखाने का.
Well, tech influencer Gaurav Chaudhary, also known as Technical Guruji, also shared various strategies to help students reduce exam stress through technology, one of which includes using tech tools to create to-do list.
देखो, स्ट्रेस टू बिगिन विद होना ही नहीं चाहिए, और यही अप्रोच के साथ में हमारे पीएम सर ने ये कॉन्सेप्ट शुरू किया परीक्षा पे चर्चा का, जहाँ पे वो आप सबके साथ में कनेक्ट कर पाएं और जो एक हवा होता है, थोड़ा डर होता है, उसको थोड़ा दूर भगा पाएं. उसके अलावा एक चीज जो अक्सर हम चाहते हैं कि हम एक टाइम टेबल जरूर बनाते हैं. यस, तो टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से आप अपनी टू डू लिस्ट क्रिएट कर सकते हैं और अपनी प्रोग्रेस को ट्रैक कर सकते हैं. और तीसरा जो है, मैं थोड़ा लाइट रखूंगा, वो ये कि टेक्नोलॉजी से आप थोड़ा सा एंटरटेनमेंट भी ले सकते हैं.
Well, February 13th marks the World Radio Day every year to celebrate radio as a powerful medium of communication, education and entertainment. This day recognizes the significance of radio, acknowledging its role in connecting people, spreading awareness and fostering communication globally.
February 13 is celebrated as the World Radio Day every year. But did you know why is this day celebrated and what's the story behind it? Let's find out in this video. World Radio Day was proclaimed by the UNESCO General Conference at its 36th session in 2011 and adopted by the 67th session of the United Nations General Assembly in 2012. The date decided to celebrate World Radio Day was February 13, which is the anniversary of the creation of United Nations Radio in 1946. Now let's find out what is the aim of World Radio Day. World Radio Day is an opportunity to celebrate radio as a medium. It is a chance to promote international cooperation between radio broadcasters, to encourage major networks and local radio stations, to foster access to information and freedom of expression. Now let's dive into the history of radio in India. Broadcasting in India began about 13 years before All India Radio came into existence. In June 1923, the Radio Club of Bombay made the first ever broadcast in the country. Thereafter, the Calcutta Radio Club was set up 5 months later. The Indian Broadcasting Company came into being on July 23, 1927, but it faced liquidation in less than 3 years. In April 1930, the Indian Broadcasting Service commenced its operations on an experimental basis, and in the following month, Akashvani Mysore, a private radio station, was set up. On June 8, 1936, the Indian State Broadcasting Service became All India Radio. When India attained independence, there were 6 radio stations in India at Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Tiruchirappalli and Lucknow. In 1956, the name Akashvani was adopted for the national broadcaster, and in 1957, the Vividh Bharati service was launched with popular film music as its main component. Moving on to PM Narendra Modi's Connect on Radio through Mann Ki Baat. PM Modi has been connecting with the nation through All India Radio's popular program Mann Ki Baat, which was started on 3rd October 2014. It is broadcast on the last Sunday of every month at 11 am on the entire AIR and Doordarshan network. The 30-minute program completed its 100 episodes on 30th April 2023. Former US President Barack Obama had participated in Mann Ki Baat in 2015. And it is the only program in the world where the head of the government interacts with the people directly.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his wishes on the World Radio Day. Sharing on X, he wrote, and I quote, "Happy World Radio Day. Radio has been a timeless lifeline for several people, informing, inspiring and connecting people. From news and culture to music and storytelling, it is a powerful medium that celebrates creativity. I compliment all those associated with the world of radio. I also invite you all to share your ideas and inputs for this month's Mann Ki Baat, which will take place on the 23rd. Unquote. And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, US President Donald Trump made phone calls to Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy as part of efforts to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Trump directed officials to begin discussions aimed at ending the conflict, marking a significant step in diplomatic efforts. A report. Donald Trump's calls to both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in separate phone calls on Wednesday as efforts to end the Ukraine conflict gained traction. The US president has set the ball rolling as he instructed officials to begin talks on ending the conflict. Trump said Putin wants the war to end and they discussed getting a ceasefire in the not-too-distant future. The Kremlin earlier said Putin and Trump had agreed to meet. Trump said their first meeting would probably take place soon in Saudi Arabia. Trump announced that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff could lead negotiations on ending the war.
And I think we're on the way to getting peace. I think President Putin wants peace, and President Zelenskyy wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed.
Trump and Zelenskyy spoke after Trump's call with Putin. The development followed announcement by U.S. Secretary for Defense Pete Hegseth that Kyiv would have to give up its long-held goals of joining the NATO military alliance and regaining all of its territory seized by Russia.
We want, like you, a sovereign and prosperous Ukraine. But we must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering. That said, the United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
European powers, including Britain, France and Germany, said on Wednesday they had to be part of any future negotiations on the fate of Ukraine, underscoring that only a fair accord with security guarantees would ensure lasting peace. Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance will hold talks on Friday in Munich Security Conference. Bureau Report, DD India. And moving on to other stories now, U.S. President Donald Trump plans to announce reciprocal tariffs on every country that charges duties on U.S. imports, in a move that ratchets up fears of a widening global trade war and threatens to accelerate U.S. inflation. The president has already stunned markets by announcing tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports beginning on March 12th. That drew condemnation from Mexico, Canada and the European Union, while Japan and Australia said they were seeking exemptions from the duties. Last week, Trump imposed an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods effective on February 4th, with Chinese countermeasures taking effect this week. He delayed a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada until March 4th to allow negotiations over steps to secure U.S. borders and halt the flow of the drug fentanyl.
I was just with the president in the Oval Office, and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
Well, a U.S. judge allowed Donald Trump's administration to carry out its federal worker buyout program as the Republican president moves to overhaul and downsize the U.S. government, handing a setback to unions trying to stop the plan. The decision could clear the way for the Trump administration to swiftly try to wrap the program up, though the unions could ask another court to halt the program. U.S. District Judge George O'Toole in Boston dissolved an earlier order he issued that had paused the program at the urging of unions representing more than 800,000 federal employees, concluding the unions lacked legal standing to challenge the rule. Trump, who began his second term as president on January 20th, has appointed Elon Musk, a special government employee, to oversee a sweeping effort called the Department of Government Efficiency, with the stated aim of reducing federal budget spending and reshaping the United States' 2.2 million strong federal workforce, potentially purging thousands of workers. And in sports, India completed a commanding 3-0 clean sweep over England with an emphatic 142-run victory in the third ODI in Ahmedabad. Batting first, India posted a formidable total of 356 runs, with Shubman Gill leading the charge with a century. Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer contributed crucial half-centuries in their final outing before the Champions Trophy. In response, England managed to score only 214 runs as Indian bowlers delivered a collective masterclass. Arshdeep Singh, Harshit Rana, Akshar Patel and Hardik Pandya took 2 wickets apiece, while Kuldeep Yadav and Washington Sundar bagged 1 wicket each. Well, Haridwar, a city of faith and tradition, is now embracing a new passion as it emerges as a growing hub for hockey. The Vandana Kataria Stadium witnessed thrilling battles as young players displayed their talent in the national games. The sport, once India's pride, is on the rise again. These budding stars could be the torch bearers of a golden future. Exclusive report by correspondent Narayan Singh from Haridwar.
Hockey, which is the soul of Indian sports, found a new home in Haridwar. The city, known for its sacred waters, now echoes with the sounds of sticks clashing and goals being celebrated. At the Vandana Kataria Stadium, young talents took the field, their dreams shining as bright as the Olympic medal India won in recent years. Hockey India Secretary General Bholanath Singh, present at the event, expressed confidence in India's rise.
मेरा पूरा टारगेट है कि जो पुराना समय था इंडियन हॉकी का बैक टू बैक गोल्ड, वो दिन बहुत जल्द आए और बस उसी का एक झलक आप लोग को देखने को मिल रहा है.
National Games 2025 hockey competition saw fierce battles in both men's and women's sections. Teams played with grit, speed and skill, igniting hopes for the future. The crowd in large numbers cheered every move, turning the event into a festival of sport.
National Game is a big opportunity for us because it is a good platform for youngster, because National Game is like Olympics. It is very big opportunity for youngster to learn something.
You can see here National Games is the good party platform for young athletes, and there are too many international hockey players are participating here.
India has many hockey hubs like Punjab, Odisha and Karnataka. Now Haridwar stands poised to join them. The energy, the enthusiasm and the passion witnessed here signal a promising journey ahead. These young players, with their hunger and determination, could be the torch bearers of a new golden era.
In the past decade, Indian hockey rose like a phoenix from the ashes to rebuild its reputation. Once, India dominated the world hockey, but in the past decade, we saw it came back to the track with winning back-to-back medals in the Olympic. And now, during the national games, the young hockey players showing the temperament, grit and skills, the Indian hockey is looking in the safe hand and the future of the Indian hockey is bright. With camera person Manmohan, Narayan Singh, DD India, Dehradun.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.